I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and for the first time in 2025, you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. We're in a new year, folks, 2025. Now I'm going to touch base on all that later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on last week's episode, I asked which member of the Fantastic Four was born and raised on the fictitious Yancey Street in Manhattan. Well, the correct answer is The Thing. And 15 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, the name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... Amy Hood from Homer, Louisiana. So congratulations, Amy. You're so free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Superman question. Which Superman villain did Brainiac once fuse together with in Superman number 423 in 1986? Is it A, Toyman, B, Lex Luthor, or C, Bizarro? Now here's some hints to help you out. The first hint is that this villain made his first appearance in Action Comics number 23 in 1940 and was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The second hint, this villain is going to be in the Superman movie coming out in theaters this summer and will be played by Nicholas Hoult. The third hint, this villain has already been played on the big screen by Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey, and Jesse Eisenberg. And then the fourth and final hint, this villain has been played on the small screen by John Shea, Michael Rosenbaum, and Michael Cutlitz. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now John Stout from Bastrop, Louisiana has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features two characters from the Fifth Dimension, one from the DC Universe and one from the Marvel Universe. Representing DC, we have Mr. Mxyzptlk. I think that's how you pronounce it. Some people pronounce it Mxyzptlk. But anyway, and representing Marvel, we have the Living Tribunal. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call...
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Mr. Mxyzptlk versus the Living Tribunal. Mr. Mxyzptlk possesses reality warping, nigh omnipotence, and cartoon physics. The Living Tribunal possesses reality warping and near omniscience. Who will win? One thing's for sure, this will be a battle of brains and definitely not brawn. The Living Tribunal instantly knows that to take down Mxyzptlk, he'll have to get him to say his name backwards. The Living Tribunal alters reality where everything Mxyzptlk says is backwards, but the latter isn't fooled. Mxyzptlk returns reality to its proper state and attempts to end the fight by dropping an anvil on the Living Tribunal. The former's attack fails because the latter knew that was coming. Mxyzptlk, becoming frustrated, attempts several attacks on the Living Tribunal. Each and every one of them fails. The fight then abruptly ends when Mxyzptlk yells, "Fine! I'm done! Kill Tipsy Zim!" He then disappears. The Living Tribunal wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Thank you, John Stout, for that fight. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll have another one for episode 509. Now, I have quite a few requests lined up, but I'll gladly take more. But remember, I have rules. The first rule is that there has to be at least one comic book or manga character involved. The second rule, that comic book or manga character can go up against another comic book or manga character, a video game character, or a serious-minded cartoon character like Optimus Prime, Voltron, Lion-O, anyone like that. And then my third rule, make sure your fight makes sense. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense for the original Gwen Stacy to go up against Spider-Gwen. Although they would scare each other because they'd basically be seeing each other in the face. But anyway, yeah. Alright, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. Alright, here we go. First up is the Avengers number 22. Batgirl number 3. Batman number 156. Daredevil number 17. JSA number 3. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 28. Shazam number 19. The Spectacular Spider-Man number 11. Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 9. No, the Ghost Spider. Two-Face number 2. The Ultimates number 8. X-Factor number 6. And finally, X-Force number 7. Alright, that's 13, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 13,369. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode, the first episode of 2025, and here's a question for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which Superman villain did Brainiac once fuse together with in Superman number 423 in 1986? Is it A, Toyman, B, Lex Luthor, or C, Bizarro? Now here's some hints again to help you out. The first hint is that this villain made his first appearance in Action Comics number 23 in 1940 and was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The second hint, Nicholas Hoult is set to play this villain in the upcoming Superman movie coming to theaters this summer. The third hint, this villain has already been played on the big screen by Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey, and Jesse Eisenberg. And then the fourth and final hint, this villain has been played on the small screen by John Shea, Michael Rosenbaum, and Michael Cutlitz. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Amy Hood from Homer, Louisiana, who won a free tea on this episode. All right, now we're in a new year, but in the first few hours of the new year, it started off very, very tragically. A terror attack occurred on Bourbon Street in New Orleans around 3:15 on New Year's morning. A man, for no reason, ended up driving a truck, and he ended up running over and killing 10 people instantly, and he injured several more. Now, along the way, there were 4 other people who died from their injuries, and there are several others who are recovering, including 2 police officers who have since been released from the hospital. But kudos to the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department, the Louisiana State Troopers, and the FBI, because if it weren't for them, then New Orleans this whole country would have gone through an even bigger tragedy, because there were bombs that were set throughout different parts of the city. So thank y'all so much for preventing an even greater catastrophe from happening. But my heart still goes out to the families of those 14 people who are no longer with us on this side. I mean, instead of ringing the new year with the family members, they're having to make funeral arrangements, and this shouldn't even happen. I mean, there just are no words for this kind of act of evil. But to the city of New Orleans, to the police officers, whether it's the New Orleans police department, the Louisiana State Troopers, the FBI, to the people who are recovering from their injuries, to the families of those that have gone on and are no longer with us on this side. I love y'all. I love y'all, and there's absolutely nothing y'all can do about it. All right, this is a New Year Comic Hero Tea. Now, in wake of the terror attack, I decided to change the font to give it a New Orleans feel. And then here is the sleeves. And you're probably wondering, what is that? That is the year 2025 in Roman numerals. And then I also included the New Orleans city flag. Now, if you would like one of your own, you can find them on iamthecomichero.com/shop for $20. And I will donate half of each purchase to the New Orleans New Year's Day Tragedy Fund. I mean, I love New Orleans. I've never lived there, but I have visited there several times for family reunions, state championships, and college trips. And you may see me one day. Bank on it. But to the city of New Orleans, to all the people I just named, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. All right. Here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode 508, I'm going to raise awareness of birth defects. Then on episode 509, I'm showing some love to whoever wins the college football national championship. On episode 510, I'm raising awareness of cervical cancer. Then on episode 511, I'm celebrating Black History Month. But to everyone else, this is a new year. Instead of making New Year's resolutions, and I say this every year, but instead of making New Year's resolutions, you need to come up with a New Year's revelation. In other words, if there's something that you didn't do last year, or something that and it just dawned upon you, go for it. Because here's the difference between resolutions and revelations. Resolutions are just something that you just want to do to better yourself, whereas revelations is then when you just come up with something or when something just comes to mind that didn't occur to you before. So please, sir, please, ma'am, revelations are better than resolutions. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the East Texas Comic Con Fans Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Creators Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 508. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and Nola strong.